Let's bring in our political editor, Andrew Clennell. Andrew, good morning to you. What are your thoughts of it this morning?
Morning, Pete. Oh, well, it's a shocker in that it shocks people. It has shocked people, the forecasts of the power price rises and the gas price rises. And power price rises, we broke here on Afternoon Agenda on Monday.
Yeah.
It seemed almost an unbelievable story, but there it was in budget paper number 1. 20% rise by the end of the year, 30% next year. No solution from government, no hope in terms of tackling that. That's almost a government killer. So Jim Chalmers, again, he's being a bit vague, talking about regulatory intervention, doesn't say what.
Yeah, and that's vague too. What does that actually mean?
Answers.
What does that mean?
Oh, well, you got me. I mean, the AWU wants a price cap. I don't know if it's that. Maybe it is that. But just tell us, for God's sake, instead of talking about national conversations and all this sort of rubbish. Get on and tell us what you're actually going to do, Jim Chalmers. That's my message to the Treasurer this morning. I mean, it's just silly. He keeps saying he's treating us like adults, but he's not at all.
Yeah.
Because he keeps making vague references to what he's going to do, but oh no, I'm not going to foreshadow it now.
Because they don't actually have the answer.
Well, I suspect that could be it. That's my fear. So I just find it extraordinary. I think there should have been a bit more lateral thinking applied to this. If you say inflation's going to come down, why not give people a tax rebate on 10 or 20% of their electricity bill at the end of next financial year, for example, or at the end of this financial year? Find a way to provide some relief without blowing up inflation. I know it's not easy, but you know, we make people Prime Minister and Treasurer to come up with solutions, not just questions or problems.
But that's what killed off.
I just saw a lot of that in that budget last night.
Sorry, Andrew. Yeah, that's what helped kill off Liz Truss, though, with those caps, those price caps, subsidies for energy bills in the UK. That'd be a tricky tightrope to walk, that one, wouldn't it?
Look, it would, but I mean, her policy was excessive. They have less supply, so their bills were going up to, I looked it up last night, it was £2,500, which is about $5,000 a year. We're looking at a rise from $2,000 to $3,000 a year after the 2 rises here. So, look, and she had massive tax cuts as well, which were unannounced. So there was a whole package. You can't go that far. That's the point, Pete.
Sure.
And you don't want to give people relief now. But what I'm suggesting is you could do something at the end of the tax year, perhaps, or promise something at the end of the tax year after that. You've got to give people some hope. Otherwise, they just think, well, these guys aren't even really in charge.
Chris Richardson, he said that recently renegotiated trigger, the deal that was signed by the Minister on supply earlier this year, actually not even that long ago, already classed as a fail. Hard to disagree with him on that point. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the heads of agreement. Well, we know Madeleine King signed off on it and Ed Husick and Dan Walton weren't happy with it. So really, I mean, it's an extraordinary situation, isn't it? It's a budget where he wanted to say, look at me, I'm a really responsible treasurer and you know, I'm getting the budget in line, I'm exercising some spending restraint, I'm doing what my predecessors didn't. This is the way forward, the next step's reform. But it's just been overtaken by this, because how can you talk about anything other than this?
Yeah.
I mean, all they've done is rip away a bunch of coalition programs, put in their own promises, cut a bit of spending, mostly coalition infrastructure promises, by the way. They got $150 billion in extra revenue, so they got pretty lucky. They're probably underestimating the revenue going forward. And then nowhere in his speech, but on page 57 of budget paper 1, oh, by the way, you're about to cop it in the neck with 50% extra on your electricity bill and 40% extra on your gas price. Thanks a lot.
Well, I mean, Angus Taylor, he was on this morning. He called it a vanity exercise. Basically, it was a way this budget, if you want to call it that, maybe something closer to MyEFO, was about saying, hey, we're pressing ahead with our election commitments, but anything beyond that, well, that'll be saved for next year in the next budget. So maybe is it a way of just dealing with those election commitments, and the real cuts, the real savage cuts, if we can call it that, may well come next year, even though the Prime Minister and the Treasurer, for that matter, walked away from that this morning?
Yeah, we need some solutions before May. That's the problem with that, Pete. So he's had months to work on this budget. He knew things were he said things were dire. in April at a press conference. So he's had 6 months. So, yeah, I don't give him an excuse in relation to that.
All right, Andrew Clennell, your coverage continues here on Sky, of course, throughout the day.